Hi everyone, we've got Father's Day just around the corner, and if you've got a ton of different Father's Day balloons, you can build them into a really impressive balloon bouquet. So you may not have exactly the balloons that I have here, but I'm going to teach you the techniques you need to make your display absolutely unique. Hi, I'm Melanie from Balloon Artworks in Derbyshire in the UK. I always open up my foil balloon packaging by hand without using scissors, because if I were to cut through the plastic packaging, I could very easily cut the foil balloon. And then I fold. And I'm looking for the valve. So the valve is usually a sticky out tab, but that is the ribbon tab, not the valve. So where is the valve on this one? There it is. So you're generally looking for a silver dot like this. Okay, and I just take my hand pump, insert it behind the foil, and I start to inflate. When you can see the air spreading through the balloon, I just like to press onto the middle of the balloon, because this balloon is made up of separate chambers which are now inflating. Okay, so you don't want the centre to get too full with air before it starts to inflate the chambers. Okay, and as you get to this point, you need to start proceeding with a little bit of caution. We're not fully inflated yet, but I just want to make sure that these outer chambers, that the air is reaching those chambers. And then go back and inflate some more. Okay, and as you can start to feel the balloon inflating fully, you do just want to be extra cautious, because at this stage it would be very easy to pop the balloon. Okay, I'm just going to go a little bit more. Okay, so you want the creases. You do want to have creases in this balloon. Whether you've used air to inflate the balloon or helium, the gas inside the balloon will expand in the heat, so you always want to just allow a little bit for expansion. To protect the balloon while I'm working on other elements, I put the balloon into one of these party bags and I'll just put it to one side, and that's just going to keep it clean and safe. You're going to need 11-inch rounds and a chopstick, and that's because I'm double stuffing these balloons. These are navy that I'm using, and I'm just using my chopstick and using that to sleeve the balloons and double stuff them. And I get asked an awful lot about why I do this, and it's to make the base that little bit sturdier. So if you're at all concerned about where this is going to be placed, you want to make the base that little bit more robust, this is why you do it. And I had a great question just recently asking whether this person wanted to know whether they could have a cheaper balloon on the inside and the Qualatex or Sempertex balloons on the outside. And well, that's your choice, but I kind of think, what's the point? If you are doing this to make the base sturdier, why would you use cheaper balloons? Because there's a good chance that those cheaper balloons will be a lot thinner, and therefore it's kind of defeating the object. If you're trying to make the base more sturdy, then why use cheaper, thinner balloons? And really, what are you saving? If your if you're pricing to the wire, absolutely, if your margins are so tight, then I think you need to look at your pricing. If you can't afford an extra, what would be an extra 12 balloons that we're using to do this design? If you can't afford to add an extra 12 balloons to your display, then I think you really need to look at your pricing. That would be my advice. And then if you're going to be if your electric inflator struggles to inflate double stuffed balloons, then just inflate them a little bit, just to start them off. one of the premium brand of inflators, then you should be fine. So we're inflating to 7 inches or just under 18 centimetres. Put the air out of the balloon as you pass it through the aperture. When it will pass through with just touching the edges, just put a twist in the neck and then size. If you haven't got a sizing box, you can put 2 chairs or 2 tables together and then just wrap around the necks and tie. With those chair backs, you can measure a space of 7 inches and pass the balloon between the two. That will do the trick as well. And then just round off. Okay. And make another one of those. Take the duplets, place them on top of one another, and then just swap 2 of the balloons around. Make 2 more of these. Next, you're going to need 8 5-inch round balloons. I'm using lime green, and I'm just going to inflate these with 2 strokes of the hand pump and then round them off slightly. Put a twist in that balloon, okay? Hold on to it. I like to hold on to it with my hand pump at the same time. Inflate your next balloon, 2 strokes of the hand pump, put a twist, and that's just to prevent the air coming out of the neck of the balloon, okay? And then take those 2 necks, wrap them round one another and tie, okay? And make another one of these. Take your 2 duplets, pass one over the other and just swap them round, okay? So that forms your cluster of 4, and make another one of these. Take one of the necks from one of your larger clusters, pull it up and pull it into the middle of the smaller cluster. And you want to make sure that that smaller cluster is positioned so that the green balloon is positioned in between 2 of the larger balloons. You always want them to be offset in this way, okay, for this design. And then just take that neck and wrap it around a few times. And this is what I mean when I say a figure of 8 motion. Okay, so next I'm taking a 260. I'm pinching hold of the end and running the 260 through my fingers so that I tie a knot in the end, and that just gives me a flat rubber ribbon, a rubber band effectively, okay? I'm now going to pull that through the centre of the cluster and just wrap around a few times, okay, to connect that together. And I'm going to use this ribbon to connect my next cluster of 4. So I'm just pulling that 260 through into the middle. I'm making sure that this layer is in line with this layer, and then I'm wrapping that 260 around in that figure of 8 motion, and that's going to hold everything together. Okay, so that's what you've got. Take your next cluster of 5-inch rounds and pull that 260 into the centre. Make sure that your 5-inch rounds are positioned with 1 green in between the 2 blues, and then wrap that 260 around in that figure of 8 motion to connect everything together. Take your last cluster of 4 again, pull that 260 into the centre, position so that these balloons are all in line, your navy ones are in line, your green ones are all in line, and again 260, just wrap around, okay, until no more than 260 left, and then you can just let go by pinging that in, and it will just disappear into your design. For a base like this, I like to use 2 weights. These are water weights. If you need to know how to make a water weight, I've got a video and I'll leave a link in the description. So take your sand or water weight, just pull it through into the centre, wrap around and wrap up into that tier of green balloons as well, in that figure of 8 motion, okay? That's going to blend in with the design, you're not going to notice that. And then at this side, take another water weight and pull that through, again through into the centre and wrap into cluster of green balloons. Okay, so everything's weighted at each end. Take a 260, pinch the end, run it through your fingers to take the air out, and tie a knot in the nozzle end, and that gives you a flat strap. And then I'm going to take this little tail here from this balloon and place the ribbon on the top, and then just wrap that tail up. Wrapping up that tail. And then when I get to about half an inch or so from the edge of the frame, I'm going to pinch that in half, hold it in position, and then just tie a knot in the ends of my balloon here. Okay, and once you've tied once, just tie a second time. Okay. Okay, and we're going to take the tails and pull them into the display at this side. Wrap them around a few times. Okay. Your Cubez balloon and pull them into the display and wrap around those clusters of 4. Next, I'm going to be using the U-glue dashes to hold some of the balloons in position. And position them on the frame here. You just need to hold them in place just for a few seconds. I'm just going to flip the design round to me whilst I do this in position. I'm just going to add a dash here as well, just to hold the handle in position. Got a bit of clear tape, and I'm just going to tape for that back. A few dots here. Don't really use the Latex base. Just take a couple of 5-inch rounds. Like a couple of strokes, and then I'm going to downsize organically and tie. And then just trim off the nozzles I'm just going to use this cluster here to disguise the barcode and the branding here. So you can have a lot of fun with these displays because you can plan them out, but you know, they always kind of take on a life of their own somewhat. And I'm using a cluster of 3 just to disguise this barcode here. Some manufacturers are better than others at disguising their branding and barcoding. You just have to kind of work with what you've got and what you're using.